There are many media crossovers out there, with companies interconnecting their various universes. And one of Nickelodeon's biggest events in the mid-2000s involved the studio teaming up the characters from two of the most popular shows at the time. Well, the ones not starring a sponge. The Fairly OddParents and Jimmy Neutron crossover special, the Jimmy Timmy Power Hour, was successful enough to lead to a trilogy being made, and I thought it'd be interesting to check them out. I was an avid viewer of the Fairly OddParents and the Adventures of Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius back in the day, but I admittedly have not seen either show in many years. Part of the appeal of the first special is seeing Timmy Turner and Jimmy Neutron switch places and take on new animation styles. There is a self-awareness there that's amusing, as both characters acknowledge how different they look. The special also finds humor out of Jimmy's scientific mind at not being able to process a world where magic exists. Butch Hartman and his team successfully translate Jimmy into the signature Fairly OddParents style, and the folks at DNA Productions made some interesting choices in turning Timmy into a computer-generated character. Apparently Timmy's hat is situated on the back of his head. I'll just chalk that up to cartoon logic. Anyway, the special feels like the episodes of their respective television series, but due to the scenario of Jimmy and Timmy going to each other's universes, it allows for the writers to add some fresh situations. It really feels like a collaboration between the Jimmy Neutron and Fairly OddParents teams. I do have a preference for the storyline in the OddParents universe, with Mr. Crocker ending up in Fairy World and the jokes made out of that situation. Although I don't quite understand Crocker's plan. Isn't his whole deal that he wants to prove fairy godparents exist? Why does he want to suddenly destroy them in this special? Anyway, the Jimmy Timmy Power Hour was a decent hour-long event that knew how to cross over these characters without feeling too gimmicky, and was a strong melding of two distinct animation styles. It was, unsurprisingly, a ratings grab for Nickelodeon, leading to the two sequels. With the universe's rules established from the first crossover, the second special, When Nerds Collide, is even better. More characters jump between the universes, while Jimmy and Timmy actually interact far more. Their rivalry allows for a lot of great moments and one-liners. Cindy, Sheen, and Carl are given a lot more to do, and the anti-fairies prove to be formidable foes. The special has the characters jumping back and forth between their shows, allowing for even more comedic possibilities. A frequent theme on the Fairly OddParents is how having fairies does come with certain responsibilities if not handled properly, and the special continues that when Carl, Sheen, and Libby are allowed to use Cosmo and Wanda. The funniest line might come from Cosmo's excitement at finally granting a llama-related wish.
Take us where the llamas are! Finally, a llama wish!
One of the other antagonists of the special comes with the voice of Tim Curry as one of Jimmy Neutron's rivals, and well, I'm not going to complain about Tim Curry having a voiceover role. Watching When Nerds Collide, one of the funnier running jokes is how every Retroville citizen that comes into contact with Cosmo and Wanda have a different name for them, which is logical, as magic is not exactly common in the Jimmy Neutron universe. Both specials are really smart in how they use the internal logic of both series, right down to the music. They use the appropriate music cues depending on which universe the characters are in. The most impressive moment animation-wise is at the end of the special, when the two universes are on screen at the same time. They do play the Shiny Teeth and Me song, so that's in my head again. A mere 6 months later, the third special, The Jerkinators, aired and ended the trilogy on a strong note. Again, the writers find new ways to utilize the characters, this time by having Jimmy and Timmy team up. The highlight of the special comes from a villain they themselves create who actually goes through some solid character development. Hilariously voiced by Jeff Garlin, Shirley gets some of the best lines in the special, and his actions lead to a visually inventive third act. Meanwhile, Chester and AJ end up in the Jimmy Neutron universe, and many of the Retroville citizens are drawn in the Butch Hartman style. The ending, in which characters exist in a middle universe that can be best described as 2.5D, even makes fun of how cartoon shows have a specific formula in how characters are written. Do Jimmy and Timmy's fathers interact? You bet they do, and of course it's quite funny. Oh, and there's also a message about not neglecting your friends. Really the biggest disappointment about these specials is we never see Crocker end up in Retroville. It probably would have been funny to see him designed in the Jimmy Neutron style. But these specials only about 44 minutes long, and the writers decide to focus on a specific villain for each one. Honestly, watching these specials, it did bring me back to watching Fairly OddParents and Jimmy Neutron. And they were clever and humorous shows, and it doesn't surprise me that my younger self got a kick out of them. While Jimmy Neutron ended its run only a number of months later, Fairly OddParents would continue on for another 11 years. Apparently they added a magical dog later, and a neighbor who Timmy has to share Cosmo and Wanda with. In any case, if you want a trip down memory lane for what is surprisingly one of the most ambitious crossovers I can recall, it's worth revisiting the Jimmy Timmy Power Hours. See you next time.